I will show you how the 13-year-old Capablanca ties up both the rooks of his opponent Juan Corzo in this blitz match, which is a 5 minute match, and he's already up by a major piece in the endgame as well, which eventually leads to his victory as well. So this is the Vienna Gambit with the Max Lynch defense that is being played, which is not that much played on opening. So after E into F4, the knight comes to F3, and the pawn to G5 move is played, supporting that particular pawn over there. And H4 is played now, attacking that backward pawn, which is only defended by the queen. And now now instead of going for the capture, G4 is played, attacking the knight. So the knight jumps to G5, and H6 is played, attacking the knight. And the knight don't have anywhere else to go in such a position. This is how this opening is played. And now the knight goes and captures the f7 pawn, and then the king is forced to capture. So now d4 by Juan Corso, who is playing with the white pieces. Kappa is playing with the black pieces, and d5 by Capablanca, and e into d5 is played, taking this particular pawn. But instead, this bishop taking this pawn was a better move. But that capture allows the queen to come to e7 and place a check. And after the check, the king moves to f2, and g3 check is made, which forces the king to go into this particular g1 square, where basically one check will end the game now, because the king don't have any other place to go, and the rook is actually immobilized because it cannot come here, because the bishop will capture, and this bishop here also prevents the any motion of the king as well. So the knight now goes and take the d4 pawn. So Capablanca just gave away his knight. He got a free knight earlier, and the queen takes this knight back with an attack on the rook on h8 as well. So the queen now, instead of protecting the rook, Capablanca plays queen to c5, which basically pins the queen there, so the queen cannot go in and capture the rook, and and he's going for a queen exchange. So John didn't want to go for that queen exchange, so he placed his knight to e2, supporting the queen. In case of a capture, he can capture back. So Kepa just went back to b6, looking to bring his bishop here and pinning the queen, and the queen will be gone. So now Joan is forced to go for the capture, and the queens get exchanged, and the a pawn takes back the queen, and the knight now comes to d4, and the bishop to c5, pinning the knight. And because it's not a problem, because the pawn push of c3 protects that particular knight for the time being, but the rook comes to a4 now. This knight is now attacked twice. If it's captured, you will get a pawn, and there will be a double pawn on the d file as well. So because there is no other piece to support the knight, so bishop to e2 is played. And now after the capture and the check, the pawn captures back, and the rook captures back the pawn now. So b3 by Joan. Now you cannot capture this particular pawn. It's a free pawn, but if you capture it, this bishop will come in and pin this rook, and this boy will be basically gone. So you cannot capture this poison pawn. I call it poison pawns, because if you capture it, you stand to lose basically. So the knight to f6 is played by Kappa, and the bishop goes to b2, attacking the rook, and the rook goes to d2, attacking both the bishops in return. But you can place this escape move, you can place this force move, which frees up both the bishops. So after the check, the knight captures. Yes, you lose that particular bishop. So because once, if you capture with a knight your rook, you'll get the rook in exchange, because this bishop will capture the rook. So you're up the exchange in this particular position. And now f3 by Kappa. And if you do not capture here, the pawn will come into with a check, and the king will only have one place to go. And once the bishop gets here, it will be checkmate, because it can just come in here and it will be a checkmate, and there won't be any place for the king to go. The rook cannot come in here and protect because of the bishop as well. If the rook come here, it will be checkmate anyways. Okay, so you will have to capture here. So the capture happened. G into f3 is played, and knight now goes to f4, and after that the bishop goes to e5, attacking the knight. Kappa just choose to ignore that attack and go for rook to g2 plus check here. So now the king had to move it. There is no other squares, there is no other piece to defend the king as well, and the rooks are on that particular back rank doing nothing in the game. So the rook now goes to f2 with the support of the pawn there, and places the check, and the king goes to e1, and the knight jumps to d3 with the check. And it's a basically a fork now, because it's also a check, and this bishop will be gone as well, and he'll be up by a piece in the endgame. So once the king moves, so basically in the earlier position the game ended. So once this bishop knight captures the bishop, let's say rook to g1 is played. So as you can see, there is nothing these both two rooks can do, because they are basically immobilized as of now. So let's say the rook goes to g1 trying to capture this very important pass pawn, and the king can go to f6, and if this pawn is captured, the rook will go here with a check, and once the king moves, your rook will be gone. And let's say instead of going for the capture here, let's say the rook comes to b1 here, trying to bring your other rook into the game. So after the following second, the bishop will attack the rook, and the rook will have to go here. And once the knight capture here, you're threatening checkmate here, because the only square for that um, king to go is covered by the rook. Yes, the rook could go here, but again a similar situation will arise, and once the rook goes, it will be a checkmate. So that's why the game ended as of this position. And Juan Corzo resigned the game, and Capablanca won this match. He was just 13 years old, and this was a blitz match and a 5 minutes blitz match. And very fast player Capablanca was in those days, and even he was in fifth standard, I think, fifth or sixth standard while he was playing this game. So, thanks very much for watching. We'll be bringing up more of Kappa's videos very soon. Thank you.